Hey there, my fellow aviation enthusiasts. Welcome back to My Time to Fly, the channel where I bring the real world of owning and operating an airplane to you. Some of you certainly own your own airplanes and can understand what we're going through. Many of you are considering owning an airplane, and I hope this information just helps you along your journey. Again, as you know, as you've probably watched some of my previous videos, I own and operate a Mooney, a 1963 M20C. I own it with a partner, and we're located in Lower Michigan. I know the context of some of the things I talk about will vary wildly as you change your location or the kind of airplane that you own and operate. But some of it's quite the same and hopefully relevant to you. So in the last video, I was flying the plane over to get the annual started. We take the plane to a place in Hastings, Michigan called T&J Aviation. Just a small family-owned operation of really high-quality folks. So the plane's been there for just over a week. In that video, I asked some people's thoughts and ideas of how much they thought the annual might cost, knowing it was the first annual since I had the plane. Now, if you stick around to the end, I'll give you the actual number, the quote of how much this annual is going to cost. But I had guesses that ranged from $1,800 all the way up to $10,000. And there was, you know, a little bit of uncertainty because not everybody knew exactly what we were going to have done, and neither did I. I had no clue. I tried to provide a little bit of that insight, but it's really hard to know. So the plane's been there for about a week. I stayed that first day and helped kind of unbutton, take all the inspection covers off, and have good conversations. And then this past Friday, we got a quote back as to what the annual was going to cost. Now, this isn't done yet, right? Everything's not put back together. The work's not complete. But I believe this quote to be pretty accurate to what we're actually going to pay. So along the bottom, I'll start listing the items that we're going to be paying for. Of course, parts and labor are separate line items. I'll try and incorporate that all into one number for each item. You'll see that there is a base cost of the annual, about $750. That's really just to do the inspections. And then being a Mooney, there are some additional inspections that need to happen. So those costs are outlined as well. Again, you'll see along the bottom all the parts and labor costs, and at the end I'll give you a quick total. So there are some things that we knew we were going to have done. The first one is the Mooney M20C service bulletin. So that service bulletin is really about making sure that the plane is stable at high speeds on the ground. It's really aimed at getting the front nose wheel in the right position, not too far back where it ends up acting like a caster wanting to spin around on itself. And then there was some other common things we had to have done, mag checks and ELT battery checks. We had a couple leaking fasteners for the fuel tanks. Nothing major. We never saw any fuel hit the ground. We did find that one of the brake calipers was starting to leak. Again, fluid never hit the ground. And in my pre-flight inspections, I'm always looking for brake fluid on the ground. But apparently I should start looking at it up on the caliper even a little closer. So we're going to get that repaired. There was one that in a previous video, in some comments, people mentioned that I was leaving my cowl flaps open at too high of speed, and that may have contributed to this finding, but we found that one of the cowl flap hinges was worn. Again, maybe I was running it a little too hard. So we're going to get that fixed. And there's a strobe light on the right wing that was getting a little loose, and actually it was disconnected. The wires apparently were a little short, and somebody had disconnected them for fear of strain. So we're going to get that repaired as well. There was a little bit of corrosion found in the battery box, nothing structural, but you know, we'll get that fixed up. And I mentioned that we thought we had a couple oil leaks, which a lot of these planes leak some oil. Our mechanic found number 2 and number 4 pushrod tube seals were leaking. So that's what he's going to replace. I don't know if that's the complete fix, but any gains we can make on oil leaks, I always view as a win. And then we elected to do some add-on work, I guess. As I was disassembling the plane, especially taking off the belly pan or the sections of the belly pan, I found that, man, they really were in need of some touch-up. There was a lot of paint missing. You couldn't hardly clean them without scraping more paint off. So I just kind of asked off the cuff, hey, what would it take to get these painted? So he quoted me, and really it's only about $300 to have those painted. And that will help us keep the plane cleaner once it gets back. So again, I appreciate you watching as I talk through this quickly. I know it's a short video. You'll see the grand total. Here's the quote, and the grand total at the bottom is $2,460. So again, out of the 24 guesses that I received, a lot of them were in that $2,000 to $4,000 range. But Ken McConaughey guessed the closest at $2,500, and it ended up being $2,466. So that was pretty good, and I can live with that. You know, $2,500. It's not a horrible cost. Now, I really would have liked to spend a little bit more time with the airplane during the annual, but work is super busy, and I just couldn't dedicate more time. I think I probably could have helped save a little bit on that cost by just being there more, helping the disassembly more, helping the reassembly more. But I'm proud to have it, again, at T&J Aviation in Hastings. These guys are fantastic to work with. They're transparent in everything that they've done, and I'm hopeful to get it back this coming week when the weather clears out, Thursday or Friday. So again, thanks for watching. I hope this adds a little bit of insight to what it might cost to do an annual. I know it can change. It can vary wildly, again, depending on your location and the work you need to have done and the kind of plane you have. But this is what it cost us. This is some real world numbers on 1963 Mooney. So thanks again for watching. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Again, I'm real proud of where this channel's going, and I'd love to hear your opinions on some things you'd like to see. So we're going to be doing a lot of flying this summer, and we want to bring the right content to you. Thanks again.